Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach and Off channel. In this video we're going to review round 10 of the 2024 NRL SuperCoach season. And so I guess it's struck again. So the curse of the top 10k. So I guess for those that haven't been following for too long, essentially last time we were inside the top 10,000, we captained James Tedesco, who just happened to go off with a concussion. And dropped us way back in the ranks. We've clawed our way back to the top 10k last week, and then we've captained Nathan Cleary, who's gone down again. So we ended up with 1031, and I guess it didn't end up too badly overall. I guess a lot of people high up in the ranks in the same sort of boat as us, with injuries, I guess, limiting their upside. But we have dropped 3,400 spots, so back outside the top 10k. So that's all right. We'll go again this week. We'll have a look at the team and we'll go from there. Excuse me. So Harry Grant was our hooker and he scored 44 points. So I guess, a night where things didn't really go the Storm's way, lots of penalties. Pretty sure Harry Grant got binned as well for that graze on Atkinson's leg. So obviously that limited his scoring. So not one to panic on there, just, cop it as an unlucky event. Lussig with a 34, so is bleeding cash, and I guess we want to get out of him, but at the same time we've got a couple of other priorities that we need to hit. Payne Haas with the 74, solid from Payne. Josh Curran with a 44, so I guess below his average. Not sure if it was the minutes. I did watch the game, but didn't watch Curran too closely, if I'm being honest. Let's have a look at how he went. So 44 minutes. I guess he dropped down in minutes now that he's essentially dedicated as a prop forward. But I guess against Penrith, you always expect a little bit of a downtick, just given that they're quite good defensively. Sam Hughes, Liam Henry, solid contributors on the bench, 39, 35 respectively. So they're going to do a job for us in the coming weeks. Angus Crichton continues to crush it, 99 this week. So he's averaging close to 80 for the season. Kickout, 41 again, not a lot of attacking upside against Penrith. And Kai Pearce-Paul actually started off the bench, so 41 for him as well. A little bit underwhelming, but I guess given some of the other scores we had, they're not doing too bad. So a late change, we brought in David Fafita. We upgraded Ruben Cotter. The thinking behind that was we're going to look to move Cotter on through Origin anyway, generally because he tends to dip in the back half of the season after Origin. And I thought we could maybe go for a bit of an upside play. We had the money to bring in Fafita, and it worked out well this week with a 98. But I guess what it has done is it's limited us. We don't have any more boosts. And particularly this week, we could really use one. So just the way things go. But I'm happy with the move. I think it's a good one. Try to, I guess without that, we would have been struggling even more. Sub 1,000 type score this week. Nicker with a 57, solid. Again, we weren't expecting a miracle against the Storm. Another good defensive team. So then the chaos. Nathan Cleary, 31 as captain, going off with the reoccurrence of the hamstring just before half time. So it sounds like he's going to be out right through Origin. So he's absolutely on the chopping block this week. Nicho Hynes was a late withdrawal due to a calf complaint. So sounds like very much in line with like a Jerome Hughes style injury. But, given it could be 1 to 2 weeks, I think it could still be just a hold. Obviously, $1 million is a lot to sit on the bench, but I guess the thinking is you have to try and get him back in if you trade him out. So 2 trades, and I guess if you've got that much money sitting around, you're probably going to want to spend it. So trying to recreate that to bring him back in can be tricky. Galvin with the 54, he's just ticking along doing his thing. Martin with the 38, so I guess probably symptomatic of the Warriors' downturn in form. So, one we probably need to look at moving on sooner rather than later as well. Asako and Garrick, I guess, both not really doing too much this week, but, you know, centre wings are a bit more volatile. I guess case in point, Dom Young this week called him a trap and he goes off and gets 160 points. But, that's the volatility that these guys can bring. Jacob Carraz, a bit of a roller coaster ride watching him, but he got to 100, which was amazing considering it looked like his knee was buckled in a tackle and he could have been done for the year at one stage. But he got up, fought back, and just his usual busy self. You love to see it. Armstrong with the 68, solid return from him. He's made us 100k, nice and quick. We love that. Bostock with another try, so 63. So definitely one we should try and hold through the origin period. Iro with a 48 in a game where he wasn't really going to get too many attacking stats. So that's solid return from him. And Taylor May with a 35. So I guess the Bulldogs aren't to be sneezed at as a defensive side either. They only conceded, I think it was 3 tries in the end. No, 2 tries and a couple of penalty goals. Something like that. I can't fully remember. That was a long time ago now. A lot of water going under the bridge this weekend. And the fullback's Fuller, 75. So had that one down game, but no need to panic on him. I guess the only issue might be if the Hammer's back this week, then does he drop out of the team? Does the Hammer move to centres? Do they try and use him as a impact player? It'll be interesting to see. Scott Drinkwater, I guess a lot of people got on this week. Might be disappointed, but I guess in a game where they were absolutely dominated in that first half and only injuries from the Titans got them back into the game. 59 is a decent effort from Drinky. And I guess, given the likes of Turbo's gone down injured as well, on top of Pappenhausen out injured, he's probably the best shout we've got at the moment. So head to head, not so good for myself this week, losing all 3 games, albeit only just lost to Canberra Milk and Reese. So 10:35. So it must just be the captaincy choice. Val Holmes, outpointing Nathan Cleary has cost me. He had Reece Walsh with a 93, which was good, but Plath was a bit disappointing with a 33. Eli Katoa with a 92 is a really nice point of difference. Joe Manu with a 95. So I think I've done well to get that close to him, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not quite sure. I guess had a few 70s and 60s sprinkled in. Kiro's with 100, I guess, sort of cancels out a Reece Walsh, for example. So, yeah, close one, but well done to you, Reece. In terms of the rest of the league, so not very high scoring. It looks like the top was 1204 for Trini All Stars, Glenda's team. So yeah, really low scoring in this league. So I don't feel so bad now. Excuse me. Had Tom Travojevic, which is unlucky. Got Hayward as the auto emergency, so I'm guessing it was Hines. And I don't know who your backup halfback is. Can't see. Don't know. Is it someone on the bench that I've just slid past? Oh, Hayward is the backup halfback. There you go. That'd probably help if I looked properly. Hopgood with 62 solid. Isaiah Papali'i moving the lock and getting a 121. I think he got 2 tries from memory. So, again, not one we expect every week, but definitely a target for round 14. You can still get him down on his start of season price. And after round 13, the Tigers have that awesome run where they play all the way through the origin period. So definitely a team to start looking at, and Papali'i might be your guy there. Marzu with an 87, so great to see him back in a bit of form. Lomax has just been solid with an 84. Manu, Fanua Blake, both in the 90s. Captain Drinkwater was a bit disappointing, but again, there was worse off scores this week. So in the second head-to-head league, I guess, given that the highest in the first one was 1200, a monster 1327 from Matt. So I probably ruined my for and against in this head-to-head league, but well done to you, Matt. So just having a look at his team. Tommy Turbo is solid with 76. Lomax, Katoa, had Dom Young, so 160 obviously was the key to a big score this week. Also captain Fafita, which is a pretty good move. It's a double 98. It definitely helped out. Both Fermor with the 76 was solid, and even Manu Fanoa Blakes had definitely, had my team covered. And I guess probably would have done pretty well for the week, I'd imagine, with a score like that. And you can see, like, compared to the rest of the league, there's a 1240, but, it's nowhere near a 1320. 1239 from obviously Oblivious as well. So I might just have a quick look at their 1200s. So Reece Walsh, Blaze Talangi, well done for holding him, David. Either that or trading him in. 93 was really great to see. Dom Young, Zach Lomax as captain's ballsy, but I do like that move. Dylan Brown with the 96, so I guess keeping the faith in the Eels has paid off. Sam Walker with a 95 was a really good option this week, given the carnage at halfback. And they're probably the main ones we haven't covered. Up the wires, so I would have thought a few of the Warriors here, but Captain Joey Manu, Dom Young, Phil Blake, all big ticks. Cotter with the 67, so I guess, I did make 30 points on that trade from Cotter to Fafita, but maybe, not quite as much money because I know Cotter had a really good break even, but we've got enough money. We don't need to be greedy. Sean Johnson, another halfback who went off injured, so just to add to the chaos. And yeah, so Crichton and Walsh as well. So, lots of great scores from 90 and above. And the third league, so another big defeat, this time to Keggers. It's well done, Keith, 1235. Had Cooler with the 65, Jerry Marshall King with the 60. So one I've been trying to get for ages but can never seem to find the time. Luke Garner with 100, so that's a good move in that sense. Dylan Brown, Katoa, Dom Young, Scott Drinkwater as captain didn't quite work out, but I guess when you've got some of those other heavy hitters in your team, you don't need to worry. Had Talangi on the bench as well, so probably left some in reserve there, Keith. But looking through another 1242, so a couple more 1200s we'll have a look at. So failing big, not really failing this week, with Brown, Walsh, Young, Crichton, captain for Feeder. So surprised this isn't bigger actually. Maybe a few weak ones there, but that's okay. And Phoenix in third place in the league, so obviously knows their stuff. Dylan Edwards is captain. Yep, nice point of difference captain. 75 is solid for a captaincy option this week. Brian Tyre with 86. Walsh, Marzu, Young, and Crichton. So again, I guess the key to the big scores was one Dom Young. But as I've said, it's very volatile and not for me. Should have a quick look at the draft as well. Another pumping in that league with Lane's Train scoring 1,000. Obviously, Captain Cleary hasn't helped. Phil Sammy went off injured. Yeah, like having to play Tamara Martin at fullback's not ideal. Matt Burns is shining light though there with 80. Love you, Birdo. And might feature a bit later in the video. But we'll have a look at Lane's Train 1002. So had Brian Tyro as VC. So Angus Crichton in, had Fafita as captain, so that probably did a lot of the heavy lifting there. But Felt and Jolliffe were solid as well. Even left some points on the bench potentially with Atkinson and Swaliti in the 60s. So well done, Daniel. Easily the top scorer this week too, which I guess doesn't help me. But Mrs. Filler with a 929, well done. And Crocus, his horse, continuing to dominate. First in the league, 900 this week. So well done to you both. So I guess in terms of trades this week, the obvious one is we have to get out of Nathan Cleary. The not so obvious part is who do we get to replace? So, Cherry Evans, Ben Hunt, the issue is they're going to be playing Origin very soon, so not much point bringing them in. Sean Johnson obviously won't play Origin, but has also gone down with injury. So I guess the name that jumps out immediately, Matt Burton. So scoring 80 against Penrith is no mean feat, but he managed to do it, and I guess has a nicer run coming up with the likes of the Raiders this week. Also, we've talked about the Bulldogs have that nice bye coverage. So the Dragons will be a tough one. Both teams playing quite well. Newcastle are not the easiest, but in saying that, there is still opportunity for Birdo to do well. Um, so, he is definitely one option that we could consider. Jerome Hughes, I think, is potentially still out this week. A lot of people will be keen on Sam Walker, given he's got a nice break even. Oh, actually, it's not that great. It's 78. He must have had his big one a few weeks ago. Must be out of the average now. Yeah, so that 172 monster game is out. So that's why he's made 100k this week, but only 72k out for the season. Obviously, the Roosters are in great form, but as you saw, they are playing the Sharks this week, who did the job against the Storm despite not having Nico Hines and just having, I think Brayley was playing half back, McInnes had to go into hooker. It was fairly chaotic, but they just found a way to win. So, for that reason, I probably would steer clear of Sam Walker. He will play round 13, which is handy, but has the bye in round 14, which may sort of impact us given we've got quite a few, between the Roosters, Raiders, and Dolphins already. And then after that, none of these are very appealing. If Schneider was playing, I'd probably just straight swap. But he also copped an injury in the New South Wales Cup. So I guess that leads us to a bit of a conversation about cheapies. But yeah, the other option though, and this is, I guess, for those that are a bit or are willing to wait, is if you wanted to, I guess, get out of one of your 5/8, say Tamara Martin, we've got, let's see if I can find him, Dylan Brown will become a halfback next week. So ideally what I would have loved to do is have Burton and Brown and just have that flexibility in the halves would have been super sweet. But 86k short. So probably what I'm going to have to do is go with Burton this week and then, maybe go a downgrade. Fortunately, there is a number of great downgrade options this week. So just filter out my watch list. I've banged a few on there. So I guess based on this week, obviously Blaze Talangi scoring a 93 is definitely one you could bring into your centre wing. The Eels should cover around 13 and 14. His lifespan after that may be limited, given that's about when Gutho should be back from his injury. So it is a shorter term play, but potentially one with the most upside in terms of the points. I guess for slightly cheaper, you could go with KO Weeks, who obviously has a bit more job security. Excuse me, there. With Jamal Fogarty out for a while. A bit more of a point of difference to it, only 7.5% currently. However, I guess he's somewhat limited given that, I guess the Raiders do rely a lot on Fogarty, so you're sort of hoping that they can still do okay without that guiding influence. And I guess, if Weeks is doing more organising and less sort of running and that sort of thing, which he probably would have been favoured as a more running 5/8 type option pre-season, then he may have a limited sort of upside to his score. Another option, obviously, Failongo. So he's played 2 games now, averaging 38. We know he is capable of more. And the Storm do have a great record in Brisbane at Suncorp and Magic Round. I remember a few years back, them and the Eels, it was a 66-10 thrashing. I think that's when Ryan Pappenhausen debuted off the bench and managed to ton up in SuperCoach. It was absolutely ridiculous, and I was there for pretty much all of it. We decided to jump the queue at about 60 to 10 and try to get the early train out. And then I guess the bottom dollar option that could become very viable this week is Jack Cole. So, with Schneider and Cleary out, Cole might have that job for a few weeks. Ultimately, just depends on Schneider's injury and how far they think how long he will take to recover. But obviously, because he's been coming off the bench, he hasn't scored a lot of points, so he won't make a lot of money this week. So you could potentially just wait a week and reassess and go from there. So plenty of options. I guess based on like my team and its current setup, I am pretty happy with all my centre wings. As great as it would be to have Talangi and Failango in there, um, I can't really foresee any of these guys making way for them. So maybe one I'll just have to let go. But I'm thinking Tamari Martin down to KO Weeks. So as you can see, the 300k, and with a little bit of luck, we can maybe upgrade next week. Again, it's going to be a bit tricky. We don't really want to get rid of Galvin. Fuller's doing the job at fullback, but you never know. Something might come up. But I think worst case scenario, we just use Weeks in round 13, and then we trade in round 14 to Dylan Brown or that sort of thing. So I think that's the way we're looking at the moment. So we'll make the trades. So obviously, still stuck with Lussick on the bench isn't ideal, but we'll just keep playing Grant. The rest of the team looks pretty settled. Obviously, if Hines is out, we'll just go with this. If not, we can always, take the reserve off Weeks, put it on Hines, and then the two fullbacks are fine. Again, it probably depends if the Hammer's out, swap them around. We can just switch this off to an Aero or something like that. So it's probably all just going to be dependent on who actually gets named this week. Thanks for some interesting team lists tomorrow, which we'll get stuck into as per usual. And then tops, chops, traps, and slaps on Wednesday. Round preview on Thursday. And then Magic Round Friday night. Managed to get a couple of tickets. Go see the dogs and the milk run around. Should be a good evening out. I guess, we can do the stuff in the round preview, but obviously Weeks would come on field, that sort of deal. But we won't worry about that. We'll leave the video there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the SuperCoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.